A seated posture known as Virasana, hero pose. So Virasana, I'll do a front view and a side view just so that you can see what it looks like or what it means. But with Virasana, you can see that I have my thighs together, my knees together. My feet are untucked from the side. So toes tucked, untucked. So Virasana, toes untucked. My sitting bones are basically on top of my heels. Again, I'm drawing the shoulder blades down and back. I'm lengthening the crown of the head tall to the sky, and then tucking the chin slightly. Placing the hands onto the lap, or again in that mudra shape, or any sort of hand gesture that resonates. I like to tend to go towards this one, but anyways, I'll get more into mudras at another point. I'll do a whole series on them. But again, this is a seated posture, so anytime a teacher says find a seated posture, it's either Sukhasana or typically Virasana, hero pose. So again, this is the shape. You can have your knees spread a little bit wider if that's more comfortable for you in the beginning. If it's really intense, at first you can also place a block underneath the sitting bones and sort of sit on that, sit on the block, or even sit on a bolster. You can place a bolster in between the legs and use that as a prop up. So it takes time. It takes, even sitting like this, takes practice to be able to sit comfortably like this and sit for extended periods of time. I remember in the beginning, my knees were very sensitive, very sore. The tops of my feet, this stretch along in the front of the ankle area, that was very sore, and took me a while. I would have to come out of it and then just stretch the ankles around and move them around a little bit, just to get used to it. And then with time, with practice, eventually you can sit here much longer. And personally, when I meditate, actually, I like to find this shape. I feel that sometimes for me, when I sit in easy pose, so again, to remind those, maybe you didn't watch the other one, but easy pose, you're sitting like this, cross-legged. Other people, you can go into like a half lotus, placing one foot rather on the inside. And so for these kind of shapes, you'll notice my leg is lifting. I need to work more on opening up my hips, and that just takes time holding these positions for longer. But going back to Virasana, hero pose, and then the Sukhasana, so this, after a while, I notice I start to arch into the back, and it just becomes a bit sore for me in my back mainly, so I'll have to move around or adjust. But typically, when I go into Virasana, I don't have that. I feel like I can hold this pose a lot longer, and I can hold this and meditate for maybe even 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just sitting like this. And again, it took me a long time to be able to work up to that amount of time. And even in comparison to, very advanced yogis, they sit much longer than they sit hours upon hours in full lotus. So there's all levels to this, but it's not a comparison. It's just about knowing what's possible and how far one can take it. So that's Virasana.